Hello everybody, Dead Spikes here. Today I'm making a video talking about how to get to power level 165 very quickly. It only took me about an hour to go from 115 to 165 just by doing this grind. It is very rapid if you get down the pattern. So you guys could probably do it within about 2 hours, I bet, if you followed this pattern, even on console. On computer it is a lot quicker, but today we are going to show how to do this. We're going to go to Soggy Cave, and you're going to do the max difficulty you can. Before you go to that, you're going to make sure that you have an evocation robe that has at least 1 cooldown and 1 speed synergy. On your artifacts, you're going to want to make sure you have boots of swiftness and 2 ghost cloaks. Alright, that's what I have right here. Get those on whatever difficulty you want, and then go to the highest difficulty you possibly can. I'm going to first show you how to skip this on PC and make it extremely quick. One thing to note, when loading into your area, absolutely make sure you have the max power on possible. And then once you load into the area, switch to the gear you're going to use to speedrun it. It doesn't matter the power that you are speedrunning in, it just matters the power you join in on. So what you're going to want to do is every time you get an upgraded gear for speedrunning, just flip it on before you join in. Get used to dying a lot because Apocolypse 20 has a lot of enchanted mobs and they deal a lot of damage. So it is going to take a lot of tries of getting used to. But check this out. This is the PC skip right here. All that's going to require you to do is have a controller hooked up to your PC. And then you can just grab that obsidian chest right there. And you're going to want to finish the mission right here to get the artifact. And boom, you're done. That's how quick you can do Soggy Caves in just that matter of time. Now, if you do not have a PC and you are playing on console, I will show you the other way to skip it. It's not exactly as fast, but it will work great as well. So let's go load into Soggy Cave, and we're going to do it again. Again, make sure before you load into Soggy Cave, you have your highest power gear on, so you can get the maximum efficiency out of this. And then once you load in, switch on your speed gear and get these done as quick as possible. Now, there are 4 rooms in Soggy Cave. There are, well, 2 rooms normally, right? So there's 2 on the left that can possibly spawn, and there's 2 on the right. I'll show you what I mean when we get in there. 3 out of the 4 rooms are possible to skip. Sadly, one of them is not. Now, it's up to you what you want to do on that one that is not skippable. You can either attempt to fight everything inside it, or you can just go back to camp and re-roll it. It might be quicker just to go back to camp and re-roll it and hope you get good luckiness. You see, these 2 doors are the way you have to go to be able to unlock the 3rd one. Now, sadly, this one right here is the one you have to clear by hand. You cannot do this one through a skip. We've tried so many things, and it just sadly isn't possible. So it's up to you at that point if you want to battle everything, or if you just want to go back to camp and re-roll it. Now, for this one over here, this is one of the hardest ones to skip, but it is possible. All you're going to have to do is roll up onto this. Actually, the other side's a little bit easier. You can use both sides, but we're going to roll up onto this side. Okay, and then we're just going to roll again. Now we can just drop down right there, and boom, we're done. Just push the code in, and we dropped it. Now let's try to show the 2 other ones that you can skip. By the way Soggy Cave works is clearing the 2 rooms is going to drop both these barriers to allow you in there. Okay, we have another one of the rooms right here. This is one of the left side rooms that can spawn over here. This is the other one. So one of the left side rooms you cannot do. This is the one that you can do. Alright, so let's show you how to do this. Please make sure to wait till the end of the video because I'm going to have a few more tips for you guys on how to power level quicker. But to skip this one, you're going to want to go up on top of this side right here. This one takes a lot of practice. And you're going to want to roll in a certain angle. I messed it up right there, so I'm going to have to try it. It takes a little bit of practice. And there we go, I skipped it, and now I just get to hit the buttons, and that's how you skip the 2nd room. I will show you the last room that it is possible to skip on. Okay, so now we have the final room unlocked over here. Let's go check it out. I did clear out this room just to make it easier. Now, this one can be skipped in 2 ways. The first way requires a feather, and then I'll show you how to skip it without a feather. The reason I prefer to do this way right here is because it will not spawn the encounter. That way you get a few chances in case you mess up. But this way, you're going to have to hit your feather and jump off that right there, just like that. And then you can feather all the way across like that, and then just roll in. Now, the way you could do it without a feather is just climb up on this right side right here. You're going to want to turn a little bit, and then you're going to roll the way across right there. But be cautious, because when you go on that top part right there, it's going to actually spawn the whole encounter. So if you mess up, you might have a little bit of trouble. But now that I'm up here, I'm just going to want to turn around a little bit, and then I can jump up there and finish the encounter right there. Okay, now we're going to go over a little bit of tips on how you can get through this a little bit quicker. Now, one thing I've noted a few times in this video is when you get higher power things, it doesn't mean you need to equip it right away. You just need to equip it before you start the dungeon, and then you'll get the highest power gear. I've tested this many times, and your power level only will change the loot in the dungeon when you click the start button. Another thing to note is when you're doing the mission select and you're picking stuff, and you're looking at the power level of things over here, don't be freaked out by the gear and artifact power, because it's going to say what you left the dungeon with right here. What you came back to camp with is what's going to show right here. It's not going to show what's actually inside the dungeon. If you want to see what's actually inside the dungeon, you either have to A, leave the swamp with the highest power gear equipped, or you can go back to the main menu with your highest power gear equipped and come back in, and it will update right there if you want to see what the highest power possible to unlock. Now, another thing to mention, if you are a guy like me that saved up a lot of emeralds from playing previously, or just by going through the story altogether, you can use this village merchant over here to upgrade your power level very, very fast. Now, the way that I'm talking about doing this, when I was doing my power leveling today, and it only took me about an hour, but while I was doing it, I was really noticing my bow was not keeping up. So, for example, I might have had my armor at around 150 and my bow was still at like 130. And I was having a really bad power struggle with that. And I was able to use this village merchant to fix that. Now, the way you want to use the village merchant is very specific, because you can't just switch on your high power gear and buy the stuff from him. He needs to be changed to the camp's power level. Now, the camp's power level is kind of what I was just talking about a little bit ago. So the way to fix the village merchant to sell the higher power gear, you're going to have to put your max power gear on. You're going to have to go to the main menu and then load back in. Now, when you load back in, it's going to look like he's still not selling it. You just need to restock once. Once you've changed your camp's power level to whatever your max is at that moment in time, if you restock it, it should flip to the higher power gear right there. And then you can just keep re-rolling until you get what you need. Another big thing to note, your artifacts really don't play that big of a power thing onto this. I mean, look at this. I have a 105 on right here, and I'm still 160 with everything else equipped. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't equip the higher power artifacts as you get them when you start the dungeon. You still absolutely should, because they do impact slightly, just not as much as your main 3 slots right here. Now, when you do these Soggy Cave runs, do make sure you grab that obsidian chest and you grab what's inside it. Also, make sure that you are grabbing the artifact at the end, because that is going to help you out with these slots down here. Also, every time you run it, try to pump that difficulty up every time. I was running plus 20 when I was only like power 120. So I was doing recommended 160 runs while I was like 120. I was failing them occasionally, which will happen, but it's still worth it in the end to get that maximum amount of gear. Also, a big thing to note, I highly don't recommend you to use your blacksmith until you reach max, because it's kind of costly and it's not going to help you a whole lot, because by the time you get that loot back, it's actually going to roll at what you put it in at, not at what you're at when you get it. So I don't recommend using that blacksmith up until you're in that 160 range. I tried it and it was really not a good idea and kind of a waste. Now that does it for all of this info. If you guys have any more questions about this video, please go ahead and go in that comment section down below and feel free to ask it. I will try to answer as quick as possible. If you want to see some more helpful tutorials like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button. It does help me out a lot. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Spikes out.